There's a real buzz in the world of bobbleheads. Here's a look at the Royal Bobbles, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface Killing Mask Bobblehead. The film which you're about to see is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of 5 youths, in particular Sally Hardesty and her invalid brother Franklin. It is all the more tragic that they were young, but had they lived very, very long lives, they could not have expected, nor would they have wished to see as much of the mad and macabre as they were to see that day. For them, an idyllic summer afternoon drive became a nightmare. The events of that day were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. While it looks like Leatherface is agreeing with whatever I'm saying, I'd like to first thank the folks over at Royal Bobbles, who did provide this sample of the Leatherface Killing Mask Bobblehead that we could have a look in this review. Yes, Leatherface still agrees. Grabbing, of course, the tape measure to see how tall the bobblehead stands. Should we go right to the top of his head or go to the top of his mallet? Let's go to the top of his head. The top of the head will tell us at least that the bobblehead is about 7 3/4 of an inch in height, or it's about 19 centimeters tall. And while you have your peepers peering on this one, I've got another Leatherface you can look at as well. Here's what the killing mask looks like Leatherface next to the Pretty Woman Leatherface bobblehead. One thing that the Pretty Woman seems to be also agreeing with is the fact that while their bodies are proportionally going to be about the same to one another, I can't though help but notice that the Pretty Woman one is a little bit smaller in size. It's not as big as obviously the killing mask one that we're about to have a look at. Another bobblehead we've just recently looked at here on this channel, though no connections whatsoever from a universe standpoint. Here's also what it looks like with the Stranger Things Demogorgon. Now that was a cool looking bobblehead. Along with sheer terror, packed inside the box as well was an advertisement to make a custom bobblehead of you. If you'd like to get one in your likeness or would like to get the likeness of a loved one and give it as a gift, you can get 10% off your order using the code TRYCUSTOM at checkout. Order at bobbleheads.com. Flip around to the back, you can also see as well that you don't have to necessarily stay in the profession that you're in right now. If you work in construction, you don't have to have a construction body. Say you want to be a superhero, for example. You could get a custom Superman, custom Batman, custom Wonder Woman, or even if you want to decide to be a doctor and you don't have a doctrine for it, you can also decide to use that body as well. Again, you can order that over at Bobblehead's website. Move that to the side. Now again, this is based on, of course, the 1974 film, as was also the case when we looked at the Pretty Woman bobblehead. But this is, of course, more the way that Bubba would look at the beginning of the film, of course, before he gets dressed up for dinner. The bobblehead did require a little bit of unpacking. You saw at the beginning of this video, I just simply took the packaging off. They're all very well cared and packaged inside of styrofoam with no likelihood at all that these will break. The material that they have used, of course, I think is more of a resin material, so there's always the likelihood of any one of these parts being broken, especially like the mallet that he wields in his hand. It looks like, though, Leatherface has already been busy by the fact that there is a nice dollop of blood red on the end of his mallet. Now, of course, he's not wielding a chainsaw this time around, but I do like the way that this captures the way that the character looked at the beginning of the film when he starts to wreak havoc on the teens that unsuspectingly walk into his house. Not a real good idea. As you can see by the way that there's also blood down below here as well. Yeah, Bubba's being a bit busy. I do like the way that the blood is all over, first of all, like the floor grating here, which I'm sure some of it is trickled down into the basement. And like in the movie, it does also have the red wall back facing with some ram horns. That's also a really nice touch as well. Like the care to detail, all of these, I believe, are hand painted. And you can really see the work that they put in all of these pieces. His apron as well, you can see there's quite a lot of blood and with a few little splatters of blood down below there also as well. And of course, if we are going to be looking at the killing mask, why don't we look at the mask that he has while he's killing? The mask itself is, I feel, well done. It is maybe perhaps missing some of the rouge and some of the makeup, for example, that the Pretty Woman mask may have had. But if you want the more classic look to Leatherface, I think this one does the job quite nicely. You can see a stitch working there on the side. And while you can only see just a little bit of his face, at least the part of his face underneath the mask is painted in a different color. Like paintwork is done quite well here. The teeth, what he has at least of them, has been again well painted for the size of really these things are. And he also has the little wiring that he has on the inside of his mask like in the movie. If we look at, though, the undercarriage of sort of the car, you can see the way the spring is attached, essentially basically at the top of the neck, and then it's basically glued, I'm sure, on the inside cavity of the head. There's enough clearance space available So it's really quite easy then to move the head around. You can move it freely just by your hand alone. Or if you are, just pick up as well and move the bobblehead this way. You can see the way it quite freely moves around. It has to, of course, make the sacrifice of the head being as large as it is and as big of a clearance around the neck as there is, just so that the head can freely move around. The sculpting of the hair is also quite good. There doesn't seem to be a lot of additional coloring, where again, like when we looked at the Pretty Woman, Pretty Woman did have some additional afforded blue, something that the Killing Mask seems to be omitted of. Though it doesn't have that, though, it certainly has, again, all the classic colors that Leatherface would have. The coloring of his shirt, for example, the coloring, of course, of his tie. And what we've left behind, at least in yellow, the yellow is handled quite well with, of course, the areas splattered in red. I do think it's also a really nice touch, too, that the blood look like it's wet. They've added a sheen only to that. And you can see like the rest of the apron, for example, doesn't have it. It's more like a matte finish. So it really accents even more the fact that the apron is soaked in blood. He also does have the little bracelet there also there as well. A nice little touch to detail. All in all, though, it's a really nice looking bobblehead. And well painted, too. Even the fact that they actually did take the time to finish the back wall. Because, of course, this isn't the part of the bobblehead that you're really going to be seeing either. If we carefully, though, flip it upside down, treated underneath is the Royal Bobbles Premium Quality Collectibles, that, again, dated by 1974. And if, again, you wanted to check out more from their site, it's www.royalbobbles.com. It's an authentic Royal Bobbles bobblehead. Treated as well are 4 rubberized feet on the corners of the square here to prevent scratching on surfaces. All in all, though, it's a nice-looking bobblehead. If, though, given the choice, just once again to bring back in the Pretty Woman, I think collectively, and I might just be a bit biased towards saying this as well, I think I actually do still like the Pretty Woman just a little bit more. The colors, I think, by just adding the rouge around the cheeks and the haphazard way that he also painted the lipstick around his lips, I think lends better to the idea there's a lot more color happening here with the Pretty Woman, say, for example, against the Killing Mask. But though, if you like the classic look of Leatherface, the Killing Mask is a bobblehead you want to pick up as well. This time of year, the Halloween season, or what I would consider to be the best season of the entire year, is always a good time to start collecting bobbleheads. More so for the fact that you don't always have to go to specific specialty stores to get them. Stores that usually are then stocking Halloween decorations, or if you're lucky enough to have yourself a Spirit Halloween nearby, I've already gone to it 3 times already. Those Spirit Halloween stores are always a gold mine when it comes to collecting bobbleheads, because the Royal Bobbles stuff are always predominantly featured on their shelves. Now, obviously, the Killing Mask Leatherface here isn't necessarily a Spirit Halloween exclusive. However, I can say from personal experience of seeing it in sight, on physical premise, I did actually see this one, the Killing Mask, in a Spirit Halloween store, along with this year's version of their exclusives. If you guys are interested to get this one for yourself, I think in stores at least, speaking only from a Canadian collector, I think the bobbleheads usually range around $40 to $45. I think, in fact, if you want to get yourself the Killing Mask Leatherface, he is available at the Spirit Halloween as of right now for around $45.99. If you're lucky also as well, you can use yourself a Spirit Halloween coupon code. And always when I get the chance to get a coupon, I'm dashing right away then to Spirit Halloween to get myself a new bobblehead. Big thank you once again, though, to the folks over at Royal Bobbles that did provide this sample of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Killing Mask Leatherface that's going to look then rather nicely on the shelf along with my Pretty Woman that I looked at before. What do you guys think of this one? Let me know down below in the comment section. And are you also collecting bobbleheads? If you are, which ones do you have in your collection right now? Are you also one that's lucky enough to get Spirit Halloweens in your area? And if you have, how many times, be honest, have you already been to a Spirit Halloween? For me, I'm putting up my hand with 3. I'm sure I'm probably going to be getting into a second hand of double digits when it's all said and done. But I mean, when it comes to me, I'm always looking forward to going to Spirit Halloween. And again, going to Spirit Halloween, they are going to be having, like they do every single year, those Royal bobbleheads that are Spirit Halloween exclusive. So definitely check those out if you get the chance. If you guys enjoyed this video, want to hit it with a like. If you guys are loving the content you guys are seeing, and you certainly do want to stick around for more, we are going to be, by the way, thanks to the folks over at Royal Bobbles, looking at, in fact, more bobbleheads, including, of course, the lineup for 2023 for Spirit Halloween. So definitely, if you guys are interested in that, come back on a regular basis, because there's definitely going to be a lot more videos coming your way. Of course, as always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.